up, everyone? Welcome, y'all, to the Skeptic and Ranting Creationist Stumps Professors with one question. Now, James, that's got to be a really good question. Got to go really deep. But yes, we are watching a video from the channel Living Waters. Bananas? With the non-hyperbolic at all title of Creationist Stumps Evolutionary Professors with one. If it had to be any more clickbaity, only one. But I also like
the entire theory falls apart. One.
Just all, and James, all of these biologists, and what they were missing the entire time was Ray Comfort, Dr. Ray Comfort, probably somewhere in another timeline.
Professors and everything, they can all just go home at this point. But actually, you should just stop at the church on the way home and do some real science there. Do real science at the church. That's where we go to learn real important stuff.
Yes, because generally speaking, we do most of our best medicine on our knees. At least I do many good things on my knees. What are we talking about? Anyway, won't you join James W. and myself, Amy Newman, for a stumping? Oh, it's going to be a very stumping good time. What is up, y'all, and welcome to our Skeptic and Ranting Creationist Stumps Evolutionary Professors with one question. Because one was not enough. You had to get many. Though, as I was talking about with James just before we started, it's professors, and then it's like some students that he kind of snuck in. Because, you want to do the clickbait title, but then you actually want to make your point and be a little bit dishonest. So it's a good back and forth with the professors.
What? Creationist being dishonest? That doesn't seem... How could that happen?
I know, exactly. It's almost like many of them, not all, but many of them do it for a living. My goodness, but that's okay. They can make money off poor people.
I mean, they're really just. They're really investing in themselves by giving money to them because God will make sure they come out ahead long run.
They'll get it tenfold in heaven.
Right. Is it? I mean, if any of us had half a brain, we would take everything we have and go to drdino.com and spend it all in his store. Give it all.
It's true. In fact, I'm pretty sure.
Packs of DVDs. However many packs of DVDs you can get.
Exactly.
Buy it all.
DVD number 5, especially. It answers everything you've ever wanted to know. On what?
Hand them out to people, yeah. Hand them out to people.
Exactly.
I mean, they could use them as coasters if nothing else, right? They work.
Which is probably what they will end up using them for.
Like AOL CDs back in the early 2000s. They were all over the place.
Oh my goodness. They really were all over the place.
Couldn't open your mailbox without getting 20 of them in there in the store, 7-Eleven, Walmart, Target. Oh, look, AOL.
They were handing them out during Halloween. They're like, oh my God, I wanted Tootsie Rolls. Now I'm getting AOL CDs. And for the Wish version out there, some of us had CompuServe. I had both at certain points during my life. Good times, but now we all have. There are really only two companies, right? You have Verizon or Comcast. You get Borg 1 or Borg 2. And I'm fairly sure within a few years they will be one company, but they'll allow you to pick which version of their technology you want, and it'll pretend like it's something different. Anyway, welcome. We are having some fun. Oh my goodness. There's always time for coffee. But we are both caffeinated and talking about, well, this dishonest take on evolutionary biology, which is, it triggers the creationist that we have common ancestors.
But the Bible doesn't say that. The Bible says God made everything just the way that it is.
Made it just like, how we got here, which is from storks. I'm pretty sure.
God said poof, and everything poofed.
Yes, and that is almost always the explanation that we get when we ask for any logistics on how organisms came to be. We have the diversification through natural selection, and they have, as James said, poof. But I mean, they're equal models, James.
For asking creationists how God could fuck a goat. Create a goat. How God could create a goat.
It is just very odd how many rules and regulations there are for goats in the Bible. I'm just going to point that out, that for a text that was supposed to last, forever, they really couldn't predict the goat going out of style. I love goats.
It passes the test of time. It's still relevant to this day. It speaks to you. You wouldn't even realize it was written thousands of years ago. It's so, relevant.
And if you read the Mormon text, you will think it was written, well, maybe, if you believe it from him, because he does it poorly. But he writes it as if it was a really old book, even though they didn't talk like that 200 years ago.
Just look at this amazing wisdom. So that could only come from on high, and we know this today because our police officers still do it today. If you're in an area between two cities, like an unincorporated area, and you find a dead body there, well, naturally, the first thing you're going to do is to bring a cow there and cut its head off.
It just seems too logical. Too much common sense.
Decapitate that cow, right? That it only could come from this source of wisdom that is just far beyond our ability to comprehend.
James, it's the good book. But, okay, let's also remind everyone, because I say it in my sleep. I say it while I weep about creationists. And I'll also bring up, I am having a debate this Saturday on Modern Day Debate. I will be debating with Jen and Sal, and I just said this person's name, Sygart. That's his name. Am I saying it correctly, James? That's okay.
Sygart, yeah, I believe so.
Sygart.
I didn't know I was muted. I believe you are saying it correctly, yes.
And so look forward to that. It's partially why evolution is on our mind. And Thank you so much, Leo. Sending love to Leo. And while I'm seeing super chat size at the end, that was the thing that I learned within the past 15 minutes. Because I now understand he's a theistic evolutionist, which is cool. But it does change my dynamic a little. Because
it's sneaky for them to sneak him in there like that.
No, I mean I like it. It's
fine.
It's that people who know me, people who know the channel, I have a one shtick. I have a one hit nail. My one topic. I am not a fan of religion. I hope anyone new or old to the channel, please, if you're finding this out now, I'm so sorry. And I find that many of the problems socially, culturally, somehow in other people's bedrooms happens to deal the root and seed to me is religion. That's why James and I spend that we don't talk as much as we should talking about the LGBTQ agenda, specifically because Soros pays us to. We have like a very specific quota I was supposed to meet, and this is what happens. The New World Order has just gotten lazy. That's what I think it is. What were we talking about?
I mean, it's like Mr. Batman's dick-sucking quota. Like, he's got a quota he has to meet. And by the way, he always does. He has never missed the mark on that.
James, when you have to hit that mark by Sunday, he is always on his knees to the Lord.
But I just remember the debate where it was Erica and Dr. Seigart versus LPP and somebody else on Modern Day Debate. And it was like LPP orchestrated it because LPP would say DNA is a code, and Seigart would say, yeah, DNA is a code. And there's Erica like, okay, your own partner says it's a code because he thinks it's made by God. He's fine with evolution. He just thinks it has some type of mystical origin, which I don't know. I have watched his videos on his conversion to Christianity before, and they're pretty much like any of the other run-of-the-mill conversion videos. You reach a point where you're scratching your head, and it's like, okay, did he just decided he wanted to believe one day, and so he chose to believe? I don't know. Nothing compelling that would make somebody.
From the content that I have seen, that is the way I feel. Is that he started with the conclusion that Christianity is true. I know sometimes they say the opposite, but it does seem like you work backwards. I know they all say it's almost like our version of becoming atheists in reverse. They're always like, I was taught that we were monkeys in school. And I know Sal, I'm sure, has a more sophisticated way of saying it, but and yet I learned through actually doing study that the creation model, and generally what that means is talking with other creationists, because I think the person that he learned from is another creationist gene guy who in essence writes these books, and they get propagated down to millions of creationists, but they're not peer-reviewed articles. It's, as much as I love, and everyone should go out there. I'm writing my own book. You should all write your own book. Anyone can publish a book. Like, that's the difference. First of all, if you get published by a big publisher, that's really cool, and you get a high way of making, maybe a higher chance of making money, because they'll have a marketing team and a whole bunch of other things behind them. But anyone can publish a book.
Yeah, they'll help distribute it, market it.
Yeah. You can go to Amazon right now and start selling an ebook, and if you figure out how, I'm sure they can actually get ways out.
SFT's done it. SFT has lots of books on there. Dodge's Retrovirus Handbook.
Yeah, just like owning a website. I always love sometimes once again, also not just, we should all pay attention to extensions, but just even a .org. It's an organization, but .org, you should still try to look for .edus.
You can buy
a
a
little bit
.org.
more regular.
Yeah, you can buy it.
Yes, I'm pretty sure I own a .org, and so, ladies and gentlemen,
there's rentafemboy.com and then there's rentafemboy.org.
That's right. It's rentafemboy.com and then really cute outfits for femboys.org. And so we get them to come together as a community. Ladies and gentlemen, we hope you're having fun. Please don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe, because then it allows you to see our premieres, or hey, join our live streams. Like, we are way overdue. We said hey to Leophilius. What is up? Dave Rogers, God equals square root -1. Michael, the Freak. Who else is out there? Ooh, I see a definite sinister. Very sinister indeed. $2 super chat. And I also have to do my DNA is not, as far as I know, Turing complete. That is right, ladies and gentlemen. DNA is not Turing complete because it cannot run that. I'm pretty sure for Turing completeness, it has to hypothetically be able to run anything. And that is, when he first made his model, it was on paper. It was an imagination. And so it is the wheel. And in any of these clips, SpongeBob imagination. Yeah. But if you could imagine like a cassette, and on each one of these cells on the cassette, in that, it could do a machine, something different. And it could be whatever you want. But each one of these things could do a thing. And through the reader, it would be able to go by and do that program. But that's not what your DNA is doing. It's just these 4 chemicals that are going off within sequence because they have no choice. There's no creator going in there and creating.
It's chemical reactions happening. It's all physics. There's no element of choice or desire or want in it. It's just chemicals reacting.
Sinister's putting an asterisk. There are some things that can't be computed, and sure, but I'm pretty sure that is what, in generally speaking, it's supposed to do, as anything that I guess theoretically could be computed.
Possible.
Could be possible. But our DNA is not Turing complete. And I guess the goal will be not to get in an argument about what is a code, because DNA is not a code. However, this is one of the rabbit holes that they want to go down. And if I have a theist on, my side, then I should really be sticking towards, why it doesn't matter if you're religious or not religious. This is science. This is biology.
That's the debates they don't mind. They're okay with that. It's when you start attacking the religion, that's when you start to really ruffle their feathers.
That is my shtick. And so that's going to be, but I can adjust, because it is for the good of actually defending science. And so, sending so much love, the Sinister Porpoise. Thank you so much for your super chat. And all right, let's continue onwards. We'll do quick shout outs. I've been asking James, I asked him once at least. Should we do shout outs at the end? Should we switch it to that? But I would only want to do, I don't know what you guys would like. I would want to know, ask our supporters.
Probably make a poll.
People.
Can you do that on
maybe
Patreon?
Poll. Yes, I can. Yeah, that wouldn't be a bad idea. Because I just want to make sure that we are getting the best content out to you. There's always going to be some sort of shout outs. We just want to know if you like it in the front or the back. Sometimes both, ladies and gentlemen.
That's what who's that guy? Ultimated. That's what Ultimated said. The front or the back.
The front or the
Top
back.
or the bottom. They split. Yes, we take turns. I will fuck God and then God will fuck me.
Dave Guy says, I like my beginning shout out and the general shout out to Patreons at the end. Okay, so does that mean you like the way it is? And then with like the
Sounds
credits?
Like
okay, as long as you like it. I just don't want to be annoying. Is what I'm trying to say. Because we'll do it either way. The question is, which way do you guys like it? And if you like it this way, then that's the way we're going to do it. And all right, but let's continue forward with saying that there are many ways to support the channel. You can send in super chats, sending so much love, Sinister Porpoise. Also, I would love to know what some of those things are, because I was, as far as I remember, the great thing about a Turing machine is it can do almost anything. Now, the almost, I guess, is the asterisk part.
just about.
But that's life, ladies and gentlemen. Which are our genes? That's not what they can do. It is we can play with the word language. That's the other thing. But like our code is so very specific, and I don't understand. Like, there's no one making comments within our code, and if so, I would love to see it. In Amy only fans. Oh my goodness. I have an Amy only flans. Taking that from Amaretto. Sending love to her out there in the internet sphere.
That may not be safe for her now that she works in a school. Teachers keep getting fired when somebody finds their own fans.
Well, do you know what I tell?
Everything to the principal.
What I tell people now is, I did that stuff in college.
There you go.
Because it's true. But I still support it. And support all the girls, guys, and everyone that are doing sex work out there. And I would vote down the ticket to support it. My views aren't going to change just because, you know, I wear a fancy metaphorical tie. You know. So both of those things. Jesus, have it only. Listen, I just want to point out there, okay, multiple things. How should I say this? Long hair, long robes, only hung out with the guys, wanted to wash their feet. I know. A lot of water into wine.
I'm too sexy for this cross. So sexy.
But he didn't make water into beer, did he? Wanted a nice red something to go with the bread. A Turing machine can be a computer, anything that can be computed. Okay, that makes sense. What was I saying? Just sending so much love to Sinister Porpoise. You can do super chats. You can do super thanks. If you're watching this afterwards, you can join our channel membership. Boo, 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 boo. We have our, evolving badge system, which once again, James, this triggers creationists. Now, Jen is like, she's like a side thing. First of all, I'll say it in the debate. I'll say it here, even though Sal gets a lot of shit. I do love Sal and Jen. I love almost everyone, unless you're a really mean person. But these people aren't mean. And so, Jen is like this. I have to look because I've heard her speak a good amount, and I still could not, like, I could kind of, but if I really wanted to articulate her, like, I don't want to say divergent, alternative, because she tries to offer alternative models. I don't know if any of
There's
her
a
models
completely different
have
version of
ever
physics.
won me over.
A completely different version of physics that she advocates for. Not completely, but it's significantly different from the standard model of physics.
It goes back many hundreds of years, if true, for a lot of her statements. If I'm remembering
the spirits taught it to her, I think, is how she would characterize it. And,
but she's not the normal Abrahamic denier of evolution. So this is going to be a fascinating debate.
Yeah, I think the 3D periodic table. That's her thing. I remember the first time Amy heard that.
I do remember that.
The 3D periodic table.
I'm still like you could make a 2D periodic table and you could put like the what's the fucking mask that you wear, the reality thing. I'm trying to remember what the software is called. Virtual reality. My brain is literally melting. And you could make a periodic table. Like, I could go in Maya right now and make a 3D version of the 2D version of the periodic table. I don't understand. Why would you need to make a matrices? Why can't you just add more spaces? There's so many questions, and I'm sure she would have her versions of it. I love you, Jen. Don't hate me.
It's like there was somebody who came up with this. Now, Jen, who is a nice person, but the guy who came up with this is not really so nice. But he called it the time cube, like cubic time. I think he's dead now, but he was quite prolific for a few years there. Some 80-year-old guy in Georgia who was like extremely racist and homophobic. But yeah.
And you'd think of all the people on the time cube, though, if you're an evil villain, you're probably racist and homophobic and a bunch of other things, and you may be a villain in a Marvel or DC film, or a senator. Let's not get political. Anyway,
I just had phone sex with Lindsey Graham.
Oh my! They were grilling a gay senator today pretty hard. This is the only way you could timestamp this video. It was the only guy who, speaking of OnlyFans, it was a senator who I could say thankfully in the history of Congress is the first one ever to have got caught spending campaign finance donations on OnlyFans.
Who's this?
America. George Santos?
Oh, he's a representative.
Yes.
Yeah, he's a representative.
Oh, representative. Well,
House of Representatives, yeah. Close enough.
Close enough. Okay, I'm sorry. But thank you. And it is still quite amazing, though, to watch this gentleman. But it's bipartisan. I have been watching, Democrats and Republicans seem to come together to say you can't really do that. But we'll see. Maybe he'll survive.
Larry Craig, he was the senator from Idaho involved in the bathroom incident at the Minneapolis airport. He had the very wide stance in his stall there.
Very wide stance.
Yeah.
Like a cowboy. But yes, politics. But back to, because someone was saying,
Larry.
God equals square. So what's that stumping question? And yes, let's get us back on track, because it is a gotcha. It's stupid. I was trying to like add the politically correct phrase, and I couldn't. And I find this video to be dishonest. Like the not smiley face is that it's dishonest. But hey, let's.
What would you
also
expect
shout
from the man who stares at bananas?
It is. Sometimes it's cute and it's funny, and you laugh. But then sometimes you're like, huh. If someone were not to break it down, or maybe were just to watch it without thinking about it, they're, a creationist or someone on the edge may go, wow. And so, and it's edited. As I slam on the desk, it's edited in a way that all of the fighting happens at the beginning, and then all of the head scratching happens at the end.
That's like a lot of Ken Hovind stuff. Like if you're just a Bible believing Christian, and you'll just eat that shit up, and oh yeah, it makes perfect sense. Makes perfect sense because the way he presents it and the confidence he has in it. I mean, unless you do the research, it sounds like it makes sense, right? The way he presents it, but of course, it's all nonsense. It's all bullshit. But
all fucking bullshit, because they are bullshit artists. But yes. Supporters, we have our evolving badge system. It triggers creationists. Join. Mwah. As well as our supporters at patreon.com/Amy Newman. You love when I do clickety clack. It's like opposite ASM. I'm sending so much love. There it is. All week. And sending love to those like Dale Pastel, reminding us that we're looking for a little bit of empirical evidence. Not a lot, but if empirical evidence is your, like, if your God can't do that, then what the hell are they good at? Unless, I mean, Jen, she has a very deistic or a pantheist. She is a very, different God, but the Abrahamic God can't interact in this reality. He used to all the time. Yeah. Gets cold feet now that we have cameras.
So Jen just saying like, I want there to be God, so I'm just going to call the universe God. That both is and is not an oversimplification of her position. Because that kind of is her position. It's a little bit nuanced, but that kind of is, people like the idea of a God, so I'll just call the universe God, and then people will be happy because now they have a God. Okay.
Well, and the problem is normally when you have, how should I say this? It's like a backwards compliment. So I'm sorry in advance. But like when you get these like wishy-washy, vague religious beliefs, you generally get people who believe in science more. Like proportionally, the further away you go from these very controlling, autocracy, tyrant-like religions, the more you seem to be okay with science and okay with other people.
Even though she has her own version of science, but
yes,
still.
But still, generally speaking, she is further team science, though we need to get her on team evolution, because evolution is science. It is a fact. It is a theory and a fact, because a theory is a body of knowledge. We use these facts to explain a phenomena. That's how science works. But yes, Dale Pastel sending love to
this phenomenon. I'm going to do a scientific experiment, okay? My hypothesis, I licked this long enough that some white's going to come shooting out. All right, you ready? Ready for the test, Amy?
Oh, I'm so ready, sir.
All
Listen,
right, let's do
I
it.
don't want anyone to get their mind in a tizzy either. We're talking about Twinkies. That's what Twinkies are
That's
made of.
right, sir.
That's right, sir. That's what he said, right? Twinkie,
I believe so.
something like that. I think so.
Twinks.
Anyway, sending so much love. Dengar! Reminding us the world is round. And if you're on the internet, you need a double reminder, apparently, because someone to your right or left may be a flat earther, which just breaks my heart. It's actually a lower propensity. There's not that many flat earthers out there. It's just that they are very vocal. And
Yeah.
yes. And so there are also good bullshit artists out there. More people that just make shit up. I was thinking ding dongs. Oh, I like a good ding dong too. Whatever we got. But yes, the world is
take
round.
a ho-ho.
Sending so much love, Dave Gar.
I like
James, what if a ho-ho wants a ding dong? What if you had a ho-ho and a ding dong?
I get my twink out.
And you had a Twinkie. I know. This is the level of comedy at this channel. I just want you all to know. That's what you came here for.
And then out of nowhere, Jesse Lee Peterson runs in. What's going on?
What? These look like very manly snacks. The kind of snacks you put in your mouth. The man's job.
You couldn't put that snack in a woman's mouth. That would be horrible.
Every time I think of Jesse Lee Peters, I now think of him now with a cowboy hat. Is that sad? It's the only way I can think of him. Anyway.
As like a gay porn star who wears a cowboy hat to bed.
James, how dare you? But yes, exactly. Almost exactly.
Yeah.
But also sending love to Dengar, sending love to Chris Disciple, reminding us that we have skeptic Christians, Muslims, Jews. If you're a pantheist or a deist, you're probably already on our side anyway. But yes, the skeptics, I'll be honest with you, people like Chris, people like Sai, it's good to have them on our side. I would rather have theistic evolutionists because the 6,000-year-old thing, it's sad. And once again, this is a feelings thing, but am I wrong, James? It's a little embarrassing. Are we old enough now to say that? We can say it's a little bit embarrassing to be like, yeah, a bunch of our other citizens kind of think the world is 6,000 years old. Oof. By high margins, votable margins, it should be like 10%. Okay? That should be like, that's the acceptable flat earth, because you're never going to convince everyone. That is equally. Flat earth, 6,000-year-old planet.
You can get it down to maybe like 1 or 2%, but yeah,
and
you'll never get it to complete.
Yes, exactly. And that's fine. We're trying to mitigate to down the numbers to where it's not 40%, which is ridiculous. It may actually be higher, but it depends on how you slice it and how you ask the questions. We can do better. I love this country. I'm not hating, but we can do better. Religion. Sending so much love to Chris. Sending so much love to Rachel Holland. Rachel reminding us not only to rentafemboy.com where we get ours from. I think that's where we got him from. It always I feel like certain creationist minds always they go out of their socket when we talk about that. Because it's not even part of the LGBTQ agenda for me to talk about femboys. I just talk about femboys because I like femboys.
Yeah, there you go. Well, it's like maybe you could franchise it out. Like they have the Rent-A-Center. You could put it like in
That's true.
communities. Yeah. Rent a femboy.
Exactly. Rent a femboy. We could package them, put bows on them.
Yeah.
Kind
All
of
the
like their
accessories
natural
that
thing.
come with them.
Oh my goodness. So many accessories. Anyway, maid outfit, nurse
Matt
outfit.
Powell would be. I'm sure Kent misses those days
Oh my
with Matt
God.
Powell changing.
Like I know those ones.
Changing diaper. Come here, son. It's time to change your diaper.
To daddy. Or the other guy says dada.
No, yeah, the
But
pastor
I'm pretty
from
sure.
the Fear of God episode.
I'm pretty sure Matt Powell's in the closet. Anyone who hates on gays
He's at
that
least
much.
bi.
Exactly. Very well groomed. He just very sharp glasses. But who
Was that
doesn't like
Adam
to
Moore
obsess
who called Matt Powell a hot piece of ass?
Listen. And listen, if you want to pat other guys on the ass sometimes, you're in the locker after playing football. I also just want to point out, it is almost the vast majority of like homophobia and even just mild like ribbing when it's against something being gay is almost always homoerotic. Almost always. But that's okay. Man, suck my... Do you really want him to do that? Why would you say that to him then? That actually seems like you don't want him to do that. Shouldn't you tell that to a woman? That's okay.
You can't have a woman do that.
Why would you have a woman do a man's job? That almost sets me up for it.
Yeah.
Oh my God, these are real people. They're like cartoon characters. Anyway, sending loves to Rachel Holland. We're trying to get through it. James, I may have ABD. FUCUS. Sending love to the girl deck. Sending so much love. They remind us that we have, and we're trying to figure out a date. See, James, when we pick dates, it's me. I'm the problem. And oh my goodness. I'm working on, we're going to get a day for our Skeptic Bible study because that is important, even though it's not always the most exciting because the Bible doesn't give us a lot to work with because it only has two modes, exposition or everyone dies. And so it's really exciting when God's wiping the planet clear. Boop, 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 boop. Did you have a firstborn son today? You won't come up. Is just like, and then this Duke, and then that Duke, and then he begat that, and then he begat that. Oh my God, please, someone go back to the killer.
Oh, okay. Now I'm going to do my uniforms for my priest. I'm going to design the uniforms.
And the sinister porpoise is like, dum, 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 dum. Also, last thing, I'm sorry, on 6,000 and 4.5 billion, just on the age of the earth thing. Because they always give me, but it's a big number, okay? If your Christmas bonus, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, whatever you get.
6,000 is old. Ew, that's old.
Big number. Really big number.
I'm 60-some years old, and so imagine 6,000. It's old.
1,000. And okay, if your boss, someone said to you, I'm giving you a bonus and I am putting $6,000 in your bank account, or they said, I am putting $4.5 billion in your bank account. Do you feel the weight there? Do you feel the weight of how wrong the $6,000 person, years, whatever is? It's that wrong. It's off by so much that it is the difference between paychecks that people can conceivably get and then never having to work again.
Why would you want 4.5 billion when you can have 4.5 million?
4.5. That's the 4. I can't even do the 4.5 million. Sending love out there. What's up, Immutable Destiny? What's up?
Press the time cube immutable.
Everybody out there. And so thanking so much love, Regos. We will find out a time because I want to do. It's important, just like having this show and building the Skeptic and Ranting community is important. Having the Bible study is important because I think we read their holy books, as in the atheists, more than the theists. And I think it's important to go through it step by step, page for page, so that we actually know what we're talking about. Unlike, generally the theists who don't crack it open. No offense, theists. I'm sending so much love. But
that's what Fred Phelps used to say about other Christians. Like they've got their Bibles. The only problem is they don't crack it. They don't open it.
Crack it open.
Crack it open and
hey,
read it.
That's what they used to do to their slaves, which the Bible condones.
What, crack them up upside the head? Yeah, when they look at them.
Yeah, except well, you can't beat them if they're to the point that they can't walk up again. But you can beat them. I mean, they're slaves, right. James. Come on. But yes, also sending love to Ian Davenport. Ian Davenport sending so much love. Ian Davenport reminding us that, oh my goodness, I swear to frigging Bob, they're all contingency arguments. There's nothing else. It's evolution, ladies and gentlemen. They've all consolidated to a contingency argument, or some form of cosmological arguments. Rarely even get the kalam because that was ridiculed for so long on the internet.
Now they just rephrase it, call it something else.
Yes, they have different versions of it. What's up, Big Bad Mama? Damn, I almost got it right this time. What is up? And what's up, Dr. Dino? What is up? Aloha. I'm going to be on in 1.5 hours. That is a good question. I know that I will eventually have to go to bed. Well, James, when do you have to go to bed?
Probably a little later than me.
A little later than me? Okay. Well, the video it's only 7 minutes for the video. And then we'll open up to the open mic and
till like 10 or so. That should be fine.
Okay, that's probably. And I gotta probably scoot in an hour. But James will probably sounds like he has an hour and a half or so. And so he 2 hours even. So he will probably be running the open mic at the end. But that's okay. Because we're having fun in the sun, and I cannot rhyme anything else except rum. All right, Ian Davenport, Regos, thank you so very much. Because someone who revolutionary mind has some opinions on creationism in the classroom. Oh, sure. I am not a fan. Neither are judges, it turns out, because creationism has tried to slither its way into public classrooms forever. And now Kent's got to do... Okay. See, Kent's now got to do his other shtick. What's his other shtick, James?
I don't know. Any honest judge would throw this evolution out. There's no evidence for it.
Oh, see, well, and then he has his other, which is, oh, well, I don't want religions taught in school. I just don't want my religion or the religion of evolution.
We should get all the religions out of schools or teach them all.
Yeah. Evolution is indeed not a religion. Gravity is not a religion. We have no choice in these things. It's not a democracy. It's not because it's cool or because a bunch of people say so. It's because it was a discovery. We have learned
They
that
just
evolution is a
basically
fact of biology.
want to feign ignorance because the reality conflicts with their holy text. That really is just what they want to do.
That is
pretend we don't know. Just pretend we don't know, so we don't upset their religious beliefs.
Indeed. And okay, I am actually going to go be right back for 1 minute. And then 1 moment, actually. And then we're going to get right into it. And something so much fun. I was probably even a longer opening than forever because I have to get all this stuff off my my girl chest. But I've been sending so much love to you. We are Skeptic and Ranting on Creationist Stumps Evolutionary Professors with one question. Oh my.
I hope everyone's doing good tonight. Thanks for joining us. So if you guys aren't aware, this Saturday, Amy will be on Modern Day Debate. I imagine she'll probably be good for an after show after that. We will see, though. Should be. Debating Evolution with Sal and Jen over at Church of Entropy. Jen Sharf. And her partner is going to be Dr. Sal, or Dr. Seigart. He's been out there for quite a while. He's actually converted to Christianity in the past few years. It's a bit of a head scratcher, but doesn't mean he still can't do good science. So, hey. So what did I see in the news recently? Oh, I saw there was a school in my home state of Florida, actually, where the state has implemented some very repressive policies on sports having to do with transgender students. And the students at the school actually held a protest to protest the implementation of that. I was surprised. I was thinking it would be, since it would be like the other way around, like the students protesting, like we don't want trans people playing. But no, it was to support the trans students playing on the girls' team. So I thought that was actually, a positive development. It lets you know that these type of they have a shelf life on them. They're not going to be around a whole lot longer. They're mainly used just to divide people. I think the people who advocate for them don't really, even like as Amy has said before, most of these people don't care about women's or girls' sports. They could care less. It's not what it's about. It's just a political issue for them to to divide people. They're not watching women's sports. They don't care. Yeah, Dr. Dino, that's true. The debate he did with versus LPP and Erica, which Erica didn't know. It looked like he didn't know that he was a theistic evolutionist, and LPP did know that. So like he was setting it up to like pin everybody against her. So even her partner is saying DNA is a code. It's just her there by herself objecting to DNA being a code. He is kind of, LPP is kind of crafty like that. He's kind of a 3D strategist in that regard. Not that he actually makes any good points, but he's able to present things and orchestrate things to kind of make it look like he does. Yeah, he's very knowledgeable, Dave Carr. He does. LPP is it? No, I think he is. This debate I'm talking about was like a couple of years back when he was in his heyday. Um, yeah, LPP. He went. A lot of these channels, like they go full bore on it for a couple of years, and when they're not making enough money off of it, they still have to work. They just kind of abandon it. They're like, well, like it failed. Um, they think they just go hard at it for a year or two, they'll get 150,000 subscribers and they won't have to work anymore or whatever. It's typically not how it goes, but yeah.
I can say, I think James, even with his 100,000, 150,000 subscribers, he still teaches. So
Yeah.
sending
At least
so
that's
much
online.
love. I also agree with everything that James, James W said, is that like I would love to quiz some of these, senators that propose these bills. Oh my God, you care so much about women's, tennis, women's volleyball. Can you name me your five? The top five. But
Yeah, when they go to watch the volleyball, they're not watching the ball. That's all we're going to say. They're not
that
following
is
the ball.
probably true, James. Yeah, I haven't seen LPP around though. You fell in love.
He basically
Right?
disappeared. Yeah, I don't know. I
It
don't
was a
buy it.
love story, James.
He's he doesn't. He's in bed all the time. He doesn't have time to get out of bed and make a video.
Yeah, but
Basically,
okay.
I think it's he just wasn't making enough money off of it to do it full time. So kind of was like a failed venture. Like,
It's hard to keep on preaching the Jeebus if the money doesn't flow.
right, right.
But okay, let's get to our opposition viewpoint, who I think people have heard this person's name. I did not do him for any reason other than
LPP is a Jew. That I hadn't heard.
LPP is a Jew.
I don't know what Michael says.
I'm pretty sure he's Christian.
At least he always was. Did he convert to Judaism that I don't know about?
You can convert to Judaism. Some people, it's a misconception. There's people who are so fucking good.
Well, it's a little on the hard because what is like it's like tradition. The rabbis are supposed to turn you away like 4 times. Like
That is the
when you tell them
story. I don't know if that is actually true, but that is, yeah.
if you go to like a really reformed rabbi, they'll kind of be like, okay, you can convert, but why would you want to? I mean, why? Because I mean, they don't care if you want to go to their services and pay money. I mean, it is what it is. But why would you want to adopt the label? And then the ultra orthodox are going to be they're going to want you to be ultra orthodox if you convert. They'll be very reluctant to let you in if they're not really 100% sure that you're going to stick with it. So I heard one person who was a convert, and he's like, "Oh, the rabbi's like, oh, you've already I think it was a guy who was Muslim, converted to Christianity, and then he wanted to convert to Judaism." And they're like, "Oh my gosh, you've already left 2 of the major religions. You're coming to ours. I mean, are you sure this is what you want to do?" Yeah.
But I'll just make a more blanket statement and then we'll move on to the opposition. But I always find there is a segment of conspiracy theorists that they really, really, really just hate Jews. And I really don't understand because I So Kitty, I was very sheltered. And so I never had to deal with any of that stuff. Hold on, also you have to see Kitty. Kitty, 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 because I like showing cats. And so it wasn't until like in my early 20s that I even realized that was a thing. Even though you read, it's a thing because you learn about the Holocaust and you learn about all this stuff. But until you get to certain segments online. And so I guess my plea to the people out there would be, my goodness, it's never as simple as one group ever controlling anything, because that's just not how life works. And it's like, I will continue to say this with both Jewish parents, that I wish
Dave Gar took care of it for me. Thank you, Dave Gar.
And good. Exactly. I will say, not going to really blame my mods for doing something. And so I just, my parents are good people.
Okay.
And it just never works that way, that a group of people could ever control or do something, because it's just families. But okay, enough of me rambling about the comments. Sending so much love out there. Let's get to our opposition viewpoint of Creationist Stumps Evolutionary Professor with one question. I would completely just say, if there were space lasers, this is the girl would have the first one or the second one. I'll let the Jewish version of Elon Musk have whoever. The sinister porpoise says, that's not true. We lefties are in control. Relax. I will say that I always try and point out that we live in a fairly liberal society. Like, they're like, it's the Jews pushing or insert group that they don't like, really pushing gay marriage. And it's like, no, it's just decent people that have they're like, yeah, the people next to us, we don't hate them. We actually have talked to them and had conversations, and it turns out we invited them over to dinner, and they're lovely people. And so we don't want to vote against them being, existing.
But they put each other's pee-pees in their mouths. How can you eat with them? How can you look at them?
With eyes, generally. Yeah. Eyes, this eye has eyes.
I mean, God had to kill a whole city full of them because he couldn't stand to watch.
Yes, and they always like to bring that part up, the Sodom and Gomorrah. But I always find that story like a weird double-edged thing, because if that was God trying to get rid of gays, it didn't work.
Well, it's like the whole thing with flooding the planet. Like, oh, okay, there was a bunch of assholes in the world, and so God wiped out the earth, and then immediately after that, there's a bunch of fucking assholes all over the place. So
yes,
yeah, he really fixed things. He really.
I don't know a single plan by God that has ever actually succeeded. Like, at least they're all sloppy, sieving fuck-ups.
And you could kind of understand that from a human perspective, because we make plans that don't always go. But this God knows what's going to happen. He knows beforehand what's going to happen, and he doesn't care. He just fucks it up anyway. Yeah, he doesn't care. He just fucks it up anyway. He knows it's going to be bad. He knows it's going to end up hurting lots of people, but he doesn't care. He just decided that's how he wants to do it. So fuck you if you don't like it.
Then you can kiss his drowning. Kiss. Anyway, sending so much love to Sinister Porpoise. That is true. It is the lefties in control. Wahaha. I always view, well, I just think that, there's been a lot of hate for the word liberal, but we live in a pretty good, awesome liberal society. I don't know. Politics. But let's get into it. The opposing opinion. And they act like it's the end of the world for all of, like, just the fact that we have, first of all, that we finally have gender, we finally have women voting. We finally have gay marriage. We finally have transgenders in the military. And yet the sky does not seem to be falling. Now, it is getting hotter, and we are losing, like, winter at an alarming rate. But that's a whole different thing. Pollution. Okay, I keep on saying it. I can only FUCUS so much. Here we go. Like I told James, I'm gonna get your bananas ready.
In your hand.
And like I told James, we're splitting it into 2 different times, okay? And I'm gonna justify that. Because there's going to be the first half where I want it to be on normal speed because it's snappy and back and forth, and the biologists are great and it has good information. And then he tries to get a bunch of awkward dead air silence for him to look smart. And
of course, it's heavily edited, but whatever.
Yes, and so that we may speed up through just so we can laugh at it and then go to the open mic. All right, let's get into it. Creationist Stumps Evolutionary professors with one question. Oof. Must be a good question.
You're an atheist?
I am definitely an atheist, yes.
Now, why are you an atheist?
We have P.Z. Myers, of course, the amazing professor, biologist, and atheist debater.
Why am I an atheist? Because there is no God.
Atheism assumes that you can disprove the existence of a God, but I'm an atheist.
What Darwin showed...
Oh, you're right. It is heavy. Did you notice she probably gave like a subtle, long thing, and then they cut it off and they get... Wow.
Get a 7-minute video. I mean, these are deep philosophical questions, and he's just cutting it down to short little 4-second sound bites.
That's amazing.
In his work...
This guy, I like this guy.
On evolution and natural selection is that we don't need to invoke any supernatural force or power to account for the development of life through time on Earth.
The ongoing processes that are observable in today's world.
And notice he is showing professors in all of his coming soon. That's what it shows, professors.
And that's the real trick. Like, they always try to make it sound like we're saying stuff happened different in the past. Like, no, it's always been what's happening today. That's all that's ever happened. It's never been different. It's always just like this. It is so slow you'll never notice it in the course of not just a human lifetime, but over the span of human civilization. 5,000, 6,000 years is barely enough time to even notice anything in that time scale.
The canine kind, the coyote, and the domestic dog, and there's the feline kind, which is the cats, the tiger and the kitten, and you've got humankind. So Darwin said there'd be a change of kinds over many years. So could you give me one example of observable evidence of a change of kinds?
So, for instance,
and that's going to be the key word here. I'll start to narrate more and less pause, but that's going to be the key word here, is kind. Because that's their made-up word instead of using species, and that's going to really define most of the video.
Because it can mean whatever they want it to mean at that moment.
observable evidence of a change of
So,
kinds.
for instance, the fossil record shows the common ancestors of all carnivores, that cats and dogs were once linked, once united by a common ancestor.
How long ago?
This, I believe, was like 60 million years ago.
The scientific method must be observable.
And wait, I thought it was one question. Feels like he's asking him more than one question. That's weird. But okay, hey, let's just keep going.
And repeatable. So could you give me one piece of observable evidence for Darwinian evolution?
Okay, I would point to, as one great example, is look at the genetics of the stickleback.
What's that?
So
four
stickleback fish
questions.
are a very interesting collection of species that were recently isolated after the end of the Ice Age.
What did they become?
That's 5 questions.
They're various species of sticklebacks.
They stayed as fish.
That's 6
Well,
questions.
of course, human beings are still fish.
Human beings are fish.
That's
Why, yes,
7
of course they are.
Could you give me an example of Darwinian evolution, not adaptation or
We are still
speciation, but a change of kinds?
These are changes of kinds.
They're still fish.
They're distinctly different fish.
We have thousands of examples.
Can you give me one?
I can give you thousands.
Just one.
For instance, I would say look at Lenski's experiments with bacteria then.
So what do the bacteria become?
The bacteria are still bacteria, of course.
That's not Darwinian evolution. That's not a change
Yes,
of
it is.
kinds, is it?
It is a change. It is a change in the genetic makeup of the bacteria, which is
That's still
Also, and it's not a change in kind because kind's a made-up word, but it is a change in species. And once again, this is the straw man argument that we are fighting against with young Earth creationists, is that it didn't become this crazy thing right away. Yes, we are always going to be the thing we're hierarched above. We're always going to be mammals. We're never not going to be mammals. You understand that? No matter how
billion
many
years
years.
from now, the mammal tree will have a lot more branches on it. Okay, there will be lots of different kinds of mammals that we don't have today, but they'll still be mammals.
All right.
Bacteria. So what did the bacteria become?
A new kind of bacteria.
That's how
Still
evolution
bacteria.
works.
There's no change of kinds. To summarize, the observable evidence that you give me for Darwinian evolution is bacteria becoming bacteria.
No, it is bacteria acquiring new metabolic capabilities.
You said before that there is lots of evidence for evolution. I just want one observable evidence for Darwinian evolution.
And
not just
here's
one.
the thing.
I'll give you some. You don't want.
They want to take something that's incredibly complicated, has lots of moving parts, and condense it down into something that a toddler could understand, because that's the intellectual depth they have on this topic. Like, you have to just tell me in like 3 words, explain it all to me, because I can't understand anything else. Well, I mean, okay, I'm sorry if you can't understand it, but, you know, I don't understand tensor calculus. That doesn't mean it's not real. That doesn't mean that the equations don't work just because I don't understand how they work.
Also, I think they're giving good answers.
Oh, they
And
are.
This is why he front loads it, because he knows that if he has all of this, it's like giving him credibility so that he can answer a bunch of. I'll just let it play.
One observable evidence for Darwinian evolution.
No.
Just one.
But I gave you some. You don't want.
Not some, I want
Yes,
one.
they-
You don't want that.
I want one. Yes, I do. I'm pleading with you.
You asked me to tell you. You asked me to tell you when I've watched one species evolve into another. Isn't that right?
No, one kind into another. There's 14 different definitions of species. So I want a change of a kind.
When you're talking about kinds or change in families, you're actually talking about macroevolution. You're talking about changes on the level that separate, say, cats from dogs.
And do you hear these very competent answers that are going on right now because they come from experts in their field?
Right. Yeah.
Sounds great. Just gonna continue having that lodged in your head somewhere.
Could you give me any examples of Darwinian evolution?
Well, when you say examples of that, then you have to sort of look at over a longer time frame.
When you say change of kinds, you mean the evolution of one species from another or to another? Yes, we have that in action actually in the Galapagos.
Could you give me one instance?
Yes, we have an example from a group of birds called Darwin's finches.
What did the finches become?
They become genetically new and anatomically new, recognizably different species.
So they're still finches?
Well, of course, they're still finches,
So
yes.
they're not a change of, there's no change of kind. Darwin spoke of a change of kind.
Okay. So here we're going to play a little bit more fast and loose because there's a switch going on right now. We are no longer talking to professors, which, how much of this video? Look at that. Halfway through. We are no longer talking to professors. He may edit in one or two, but you'll see what I mean. And we may play with this a little bit more.
Can you think of any observable evidence for Darwin?
In fact, no. I'm just going to put this on 1.5. And you'll see why. Because there's longer pauses like that right there.
Spoke of a change of kind. Can you think of any observable evidence for Darwinian evolution where there's a change of kind?
Change of kind. Change of kind.
Look at that. Geology major.
I'm gonna have to think about that one a little longer.
You give me anything that I can see, observe, and test, which is a scientific method for Darwinian evolution, a change of kinds.
Test and observe.
Could you give me observable evidence, which is a scientific method for Darwinian evolution, a change of kinds?
So now he's just going to students. And people, also another thing, because they're not saying if he is a physics major, he's an actual physicist, but once again, not a biologist. Now they're going to people outside of the field of biology.
Okay, I gotta think about it. So you want the evidence of it?
I would say
I cannot, I think.
Look at this shit. I know. Come on. Do you feel this, James? I didn't think about this going into this video. This video sold me on him being dishonest. Does that make sense? Like I went out of my way to find evolution. This makes me think that he's a scumbag. I'm sorry. Like I'm putting it out there. Like he has this nice guy persona, blah blah blah. Yeah. He seems very playful, whatever. Okay.
Question actually.
Sending love though. Still sending love.
So, can you repeat the question again?
Could you give me any observable evidence, just one, for Darwinian evolution?
Let me think about that for a sec.
Very non-biased. Not a single person arguing with him.
Besides faith, something that can be observed, like the scientific process, observable?
That's a good question. That one I'm not quite sure.
So you can't think of any observable evidence for evolution?
No.
How do you know it's true?
None.
I'm not sure.
So Darwinian evolution is not observable. It's not scientific.
I guess so.
So it's unscientific.
There you go. There you go. Just and once again, as James said, he probably also picked people. You know, even if there was maybe a student or two who actually fought back against him, would he show that person?
No. He finds the ones who seem stumped, so he can make it look like they're stumped.
He does natural selection. He does artificial selection to his videos.
Scientific, actually, you could prove it. It could be proven. Just
do it for me.
That's hard. I don't. It's just.
There we go. Finally, we have a biology major, but once again, he's talking to students. Like this could be a first-year student. He basically just picked his major. And no, I'm not like trying to throw shots at college students. You will not find a bigger supporter of academia than right here. That's not what I'm saying. It's that he front-loaded with this with professors, and that's what the video says. The title is Creationist Stumps Evolutionary Professors with one question, and that's not a professor.
That's just too broad of a.
Unobservable. That's
And they
why
didn't see the stumps.
Yes, exactly.
They're
don't
trusting
seem
the
to-
biology majors and the biology professors know
They
what they're
just
talking
seem
about.
to say,
And
I don't know. And that is what I guess you should know if you don't know.
they can't even give me evidence of a change of kinds.
Well, then there isn't one. If they don't give it, then
Now a
I wouldn't say
chemistry
there was.
major.
I just go on what I've seen and what I've learned from
So
class.
you believe?
Yeah.
You know what that's called?
What?
Blind faith.
Blind faith.
There we go. But do you understand why I might have sped that up? Just so much dead silence, because that's what he wants. Oh my goodness. I just couldn't even
They
think.
don't have any answers
Right.
for it. They don't know.
Yeah. Well, the biology professors seem to think that he was full of shit. I don't know.
Well, they're asking. I mean, they're asking for something that you can't show because it doesn't happen, but they're portraying it like that's what evolution says. It is incredibly dishonest. Yeah.
Yes. And so I didn't think that he was this dishonest going in. I always knew. I just kind of mocked him for the banana thing. But this type of editing and this type of the way that he interviews and stuff, it is just dishonest. Do. But yes, that was the.
And they're almost forced to go that direction. They're almost compelled because they really don't have any other argument. Because if they argue on a level playing field, they'll get slaughtered. So they almost have to try to stack the deck against evolution.
And yeah, also that is so funny. They went to the Hall of Science, which I'm sure is it's probably a real place that has a lovely department that, investigates and celebrates science. It is just funny that they must have searched for something that they could go and interview people in front of. Because they went to the professors. You notice they went to wherever the professor was. But then they went, and yeah, it was almost like a chopped up video. It was a chopped up video.
Like ambushing a professor in line at Burger King. Like, hey, can you give me evidence for evolution?
Well, yes, I can. I could give you this example,
Well,
this
now they
example, this example. But then, once again, he asked them 8 different questions. They answered every single one, and then it cuts to him just answering a bunch of students a single question. But yeah, if
Most
you
of
have
them probably have no idea who he is, so that puts them at a disadvantage.
Oh yeah, well, most of them, I think we, especially in this, in this community, but sometimes just atheists and that. I think we like to debate. Sometimes we have the bug. It is a debating community. However, most people, I think in the general populace, they go about on their day and they don't really have to defend specifics on biology, chemistry, and physics. However, when you deal with creationists, you have to talk about almost all of them. And so, most people don't want to talk about abiogenesis, the Big Bang, or evolution. That's not really their field of expertise.
Right. So you could go into any city and you could walk up to people and ask them, hey, how do you know, or what is your best evidence that the world is round? And I'm sure a lot of them will be like, I mean, it just is, because that's what they told us. I mean, they might not be able to put an articulate explanation around it, but that doesn't mean that the world is flat. It just means that the general public doesn't spend a lot of their time reading science texts or,
Exactly. And that sometimes allows the charlatans, the flat earthers, to sound technical when almost all of their arguments are bullshit, and there are simple tests that once you investigate, we can look into, how they knew the world was round for thousands of years. We can by just looking into wells and being able to compare them with sunlight from day to day. And so
they could say, "Oh, well, we have pictures of it from space." Oh, well, do you know that CGI exists? So
also,
how do you know? So if you've already
CGI.
admitted that CGI exists, then how do you know those pictures aren't
And
CGI?
it
Why do you
kills
apparently
me
just trust them?
because
Why?
none of them have a background in CGI, and I know that's probably it is a little bit of a. I'm trying to think of the specific fallacy they try and say, but you're supposed to go to an expert when you're trying to look for expertise. You're supposed to go to scientists in their relative field. When they went to geologists, he doesn't study biology. And that's why he may not know the word kind bullshit, because kind's not a biology word. But if you have to deal with creationists, you might know what it is, which most lay people probably don't. But
well, I mean, it's also like their thing. They like to say, "Oh, you could ask fourth graders what different kinds they are, and the fourth graders they would tell you what kind it is." As if that's how we classify animals, based on what little kids think, how they think innately they should be classified.
Though almost all the stuff that they show, then they ask, "Is this what we show to kids?" And it's like, yes, the tree of life, yes, that's how it works. We simplify it so we are able to show time scales. But you could make it as complicated or as simple as you want. You could do it for billions of years. But also, if you would like to join the show and join the panel, we are going to be opening up the open mic, because if you agree, disagree, liberal, conservative, come as you are, it's not on my sheets, please. I have territory right here. And I'll pin that. And if we have no one that disagrees with us, then we'll stay here for a little while and then
we're going
send love.
You gonna be up for an after show after your debate Saturday night?
Yeah, probably. Saturday. I teach Saturday, but it's early. And then I'm going to do
9, 8.
I think 8. I am looking forward. I just like debating. Oh, here's Sinister. And all right, because Sinister's coming on, that means we are going to start the open mic. It is 800. I'm basically going to say hi to her. And then James, I am going to duck.
You gonna leave as soon as she gets on?
Not as soon as she gets on, but like
a few minutes, yeah. Okay.
In a few minutes. Not because I want to leave, but because
you work for me.
Oh my goodness, I have to wake up at 5:30.
Yeah.
No, just I'm still getting used to 5:30. No matter how early you go to bed, 5:30 is always just gonna be, because it's always dark out.
5:30 is ruling, yeah.
It's worth it, though. It really is worth it. And all right, so let's get on to the open mic. We are talking Creationist Stumps Evolutionary Professor with one question, and we're now going to have fun in the dark sun. Some people would call it nighttime.
Here she is.
But yes, what is up? We are Skeptic and Ranting on Creationist Stumps Evolutionary Professors with one question. What is up, Sinister Porpoise? How are you, and what are your thoughts?
Well, first of all, you do get used to waking up at 5:30 in the morning.
Listen, can I tell you, now I have to interrupt you. You're right, unfortunately, because I've had days off where I've woken up at 5:30 and I was like, body, fuck this. No, bad. And I go back to sleep. But that's like, yes, still hard though. I am not an early riser. I need lots of this. Lots and lots of coffee. But yes, back to you, Sinister.
Well, at least you
Now,
don't
if
have
somebody
to
had some bacon out there for you in the pan, then you'd probably get up. That
Oh
would
my
wake you up.
goodness. Yes, I almost have bacon every morning, unfortunately, because I have an unhealthy addiction to McDonald's lately, McDonald's breakfast. And that app, it's buy one, get one free. Oh my goodness, ladies and gentlemen. Sinister back.
It's a good deal every day.
Hey.
I would like to point out that PZ Myers actually posted the unedited version.
Yes. And so people should check that out because it's probably packed with more information. And it's just every time that they were probably getting going and he was getting, well, he gave good explanations, but I just love the way that they hate, I should say. I'm sorry, Sinister.
Oh, sorry, I was typing because I'm doing something for a social. I'm the social media person for an organization at the university.
Oh, cool.
So
you're about to graduate, right?
Yes, but hopefully I'm also about to start my master's.
Really? Congratulations.
That'll depend on whether or not I can get a graduate assistantship, but
you'll get it. I can feel it.
But there is one thing I wish that the professors would do when dealing with people like Ray Comfort is thus don't play their game. He's going to keep asking these questions. Do more what Aaron Ra did with Kent Hovind. Try to get him to find a kind first, and do not let him let up on that.
That's true. Give me a kind. Well, I always try and ask people the mammal question. That seems to be my one. I guess I have many shticks, but I don't understand why they accept that we're mammals, but they don't accept that like we're anything else. And if you accept
you can
that
be a mammal, but not an ape.
But what does that even mean if you're not gonna have categories? How are we mammals at all? Does that make sense? Like, how are you separating it out? You're just arbitrarily doing it if we're not creationists.
I should probably say something there, otherwise it's going to lead to an awkward silence.
That's okay. Well, we're sending so much love to you, Sinister. We love having you on. But yes, right back over to you if you do want to say something.
A what?
Oh, we love having you on, and right back over to you if you do want to say something.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I spent the last 2 days trying to convince people that -4 minus 52 or -4 minus 56 does not equal 52.
I'm sold.
What's that sub? Math is funny. What is it?
But it's
I will say at my where I teach, I do have now, because I have outfits for every subject basically, but I basically for math I have a hoodie that has math equations on it, and then I have a hat that says math.
So you're Mrs. Frizzle?
They did somebody did like a proof for 1 + 1 = 2, and it was like 40 some pages long of math.
Yeah, I'm not surprised, but the thing is, we don't need proofs for basic arithmetic. We really don't. And even in math, there are some things you just take, okay, like there's a property in geometry, we call it the reflexive property, but it's the same thing in logical law of identity. A is A, or anything is equal to itself. You can't prove it.
You can't prove it, no.
Because it's just a property. But you just assume it's true because it seems to be true.
It just is.
Yeah.
Logic seems to work. And you need to use logic to try and disprove logic.
But I am disappointed that Ray went
Where
after
do
the
these
students.
laws of logic come from, sir?
Oh,
We make them up. The laws of logic.
yeah, they're tautologies. They're just.
They have to come from a loving, logical, law-giving God.
No, they don't. They're just observations. Sorry.
Then you just made them up, right? You just make it up as you go along, sir.
My sarcasm detector is on the fritz.
It's okay. The person that he's impersonating is a closeted preacher, as in he used to be gay, and now he basically preaches how bad homosexuality is.
Finds gay couples to harass.
Yeah, he has harassed gay couples.
Alex Jones?
Alex Jones has to pay a settlement now to those families, not to bring politics back in.
Hey,
He doesn't have it.
I would just like to point out that Dead Milkmen protected Alex Jones in the 80s with their song Stort. If you haven't ever heard that song, go look at it. It's very much an Alex Jones rant. When did that song come out?
But I was amazed that Alex Jones even, like, he admitted in court that he was wrong, that no, it wasn't a government operation. It wasn't. It was just a crazy guy with a gun. But he, like, never backs down, but he backed down on that one thing. Oh, well, okay, he probably still thinks it was the government, but he just said
Maybe
that.
his lawyer told him to say that.
Well,
yeah.
I think Alex Jones's power is at least declining, and much like Kent Hovind's relevance has declined. People still like to go after Mr. Hovind because he's an... Sorry, I'll call him Pastor Hovind. He's earned that. Because he's an easy target.
Yes. Much like his ex-wives. I'll leave now.
And, Kent Hovind is very personable.
Sending love to his ex-wives, because they have actually, some of them have been kicking his ass lately on the internet. Okay, continue. I'm sorry.
He's a charismatic speaker. And it's very easy to be fooled if someone sounds like they're confident and you don't necessarily know the topic.
Well, he is a charlatan. He's like the old type of charismatic. He is that type of guy that, I don't know, to me he's sleazy, but I don't understand how when you listen to the fans of his, how apparently, well, because he makes jokes, and so that person's always going to be more interesting than a person who doesn't. And you
would have made a good living selling used cars.
Yeah, exactly. If you have confidence, you could sell. Oh, two people I forgot to sell, because James Wolfe has been here for a while, and I forgot to send love out to James Wolfe.
Hey, James.
So sending love out to you out there. I'm sending so much love, Marguerite.
The Mark of the Beast is out there.
Mark's channel.
Well, to me, James W. gives off like a grandfatherly vibe. Like telling the dad jokes and...
Listen, I would say that, yes, he generally does all of the dad jokes, and almost all of them are terrible, misogynistic. Yeah, he is misogynistic. Cemetery.
You could see... Like, you feel like it could take you to a Dairy Queen for a dilly bar or something. He comes off that way, but I'm not going to say you should find him charismatic. But he is also a gifted public speaker, and I think those of us who have learned something sometimes wonder, it's like, do we really know what we're talking about, or are we just sounding confident because we know all these buzzwords?
Oh, well, no, that is the difference. I'll keep on saying this. The difference between a scientist and a creationist. Someone who is of science wants to convey information, and so they often speak simply. And a creationist wants to sound technical, and so they spend all of their time trying to use the most convoluted language possible because it makes conversation incoherent. And in essence, they can sound like they're smart, and the people, there's nothing to talk. My goodness, I never even thought of that. Yes, because you made up those words. You made up that question. There is no such thing as a kind. Not in biology.
But I also think people, we have a tendency to do this, and I have to watch it sometimes, to call people we disagree with stupid.
Well, that is true. I don't know if I
And I don't
call
think
Kent stupid. I would call
He's
him
not.
sleazy and a huckster and a con artist and a snake oil salesman and it's a different set of bad words.
As I've said before, sorry, Brett, but I think Brett is not smart enough to understand evolution. I think Kent gets it. He just pretends he doesn't.
Kent has been smart enough to come up with convoluted schemes that didn't work to fool the IRS.
Never mess with the IRS. The Joker knows this, okay?
To run...
I can't take FICA out of their pay. They're missionaries. They don't work for me. They work for God.
To run a Christian ministry and... What? Keep wanting to make a joke, but I'm not even sure where I'm going with it. That's okay. I'll leave the comedy to the professional comedians.
That's okay. I always say, if you ever think of something, as long as it doesn't break the TOS, feel free to say.
Yeah, but I have to be careful now, for the same reasons you do.
That's it. Hey, exactly. But
that was it. Now I remember. Ken Hovind and Joseph Smith have a lot of common in some ways. They may not be educated. And a lot of the arguments, especially for Joseph Smith and Muhammad, are like, oh yeah, it's like an uneducated person couldn't possibly come up with the Quran or the Book of Mormon. Now, let's discard the Quran there because I've never, not discard it. Let's set aside the Quran because I've never.
No, it's okay. We can. I've read major portions of it, and at this point, I am safe to say it is in the category of very silly, just like the other ones.
But I have read the Book of Mormon. Now, the Book
that
of
is
Mormon,
also very silly.
Yes, if you ever want to do a Book of Mormon study, I want to be on that panel.
We should. We've been trying to go in order, as in, I know this is terrible, and James and I will both be in walkers when this happens, but the goal, the idea, is to go in order from the Torah to the New Testament to the book of to the Quran to the Book of Mormon. That may take, a day or two. How much time do we have?
Dianetics.
That Dianetics. Oh my! Scientology does need. We need to take more swings at that too.
But even though they weren't educated, it's like Joseph Smith was clearly smart enough to run a. What's the word I'm looking for? Developing American religion.
Same thing.
And it survived his death.
All right. The water's down here. All right. Start digging. I'm going to get out of here. Just dig about 30 feet down. You'll get the water for sure.
I don't know if Mormonism... I don't know if he could have gotten away with Mormonism today where we have more easy access to information, especially with his history. But
I'm looking for water. It actually points.
And Kent Hovind just gives off that kind of vibes. Like if Kent Hovind were...
You're dousing with the wrong rod. You're supposed to
I
use a
know.
different rod.
Oh, I will say, I have things that if we search and we dig, we will eventually get eruptions. But...
Oh, eruptions.
Yes.
Sorry.
That's okay. We can... This is a late night podcast, right? Mostly late night.
Well, we know Kent sometimes get erections at the wrong thing, but where's that Matt?
He also talks about erections too much. James, how long is that whale D?
Well, the whale gets an erection. It could be over 15 feet long.
Whew. Ladies, watch out.
Whales only look for the female whale. They don't look for a beaver or a woodchuck or a hamster. They look for a female whale.
Listen, we've all got our inner 12-year-olds, so.
Look.
Like, there are certain things I will snicker at internally just because.
Some of us get cute outfits. Other of us con, 85-year-old ladies out of their pensions. We all.
Or con people into doing free work for us on our cult compound.
Oh my goodness. Exactly. He is in essence a cult leader. And they have slaves. And it's not like Mr. Slave from South Park. What is up, Sven and Frog Boy?
And the accommodations are not even very friendly.
No.
Well, let's
stay here for a day. The next day, I'm putting you to work.
But also, and I know you're about to say something, I'm going to do 5 more minutes.
I was going to say maybe someone wants to come on.
I'm going to shill it one more time. You're going to hear me click back.
We'll just,
Come on, someone come on who said thinks DNA is a code.
Yeah, you can.
But if not, well, either way,
DNA is a code.
What was the one question was, when was a kind become another kind? Which is a really dumb question because kind is not a word within the biological community. And so you can make it up whatever you want. And the people they asked, and James, because I was talking about it beforehand, and it might have sounded like I was trying to skip. But no, did you see how many awkward pauses were in the end there and all that shit? Like, it was like back and forth in the beginning. It was like, yeah, and it was like good meaty content. And then it was like he was trying to make himself sound smart at the end. I'm not crazy, right?
Well, he didn't say, except for he didn't say except for the last one. I noticed that they were that it was a student. So he was trying to make the professors look dumb by including them that way.
And he shouldn't be including either one of two things. Either say like he stumps people at university, so you change the title, or you don't include non-professors, because the title is Creationist Stumps Evolutionary Professors with one question. But he doesn't stump the professor. And the most of the people that he takes pot shots out are students. And once again, there might have been students that hit answers out of the ballpark, and he just threw them out. And so we don't even know. But like Sinister Porpoise said, his PZ Myers, the unedited version, is on his YouTube.
Yeah, and even PZ still makes him look bad in the edited version, which I don't think Ray realizes.
And do I like frogs? All I could say is I like all animals for the most part. I'm one of those weird people that doesn't kill insects and stuff. But I do like frogs. They're cool.
Actually, someone brought up a point that I wanted to address, even as a side point. It's like, as a Mormon living outside of Utah, growing up in Pennsylvania, I got a lot of questions about Jehovah's Witnesses beliefs, because a lot of people don't realize it's like the Jehovah's Witness beliefs are actually more similar to mainstream Christian beliefs than what the Mormons believe are.
The Mormons are an interesting take. I look at the Mormons and Muslims as rivals in like the time period, or at least not in that they are both third generation. In their mythology, it was Jews, Christians, and now there's this third testament. Not different. They all are like, it's not, we're you're like we're the true ones, and you're not, and they're not even Mormons because that's an insult. They are the Latter-day Saints, right?
No, I don't know where they are on that. That's
they
that has
used
to
to. I
They
sometimes
prefer that moniker.
the problem. I think that's more something they're doing in the developing world, because a lot of people don't know what the name Mormon means, or or they might find out there's a history behind it.
I feel like you have to lean into it eventually, right?
Listen, I call myself an ex-Mormon now. I called myself a Mormon for years. It's not an insult.
Gotcha.
And it just depends on whatever the talking point that the current old man running the church wants it to be. And they want to call themselves the Church of Jesus Christ to get more members abroad. Because
Yeah, well, they want to attach themselves. I always joke that how religions work is they always have backwards compatibility, but it never goes the other way. And so the Jews don't want to attach themselves to Christians or Mormons, but the Christians want to attach themselves to the Jews. And like the Christians,
the Muslims,
and the same with the Muslims. Well, the Muslims and the Mormons, they both want to be like, well, we have like Jesus in our thing too, but like they don't want to be attached to each other.
Well, one of them is actually a Christian thing.
Sure. Well,
Muslims will say they're not.
The way that the Muslims sell it is that they say, well, we have Jesus too. They'll say Jesus is one of our prophets. He's just a prophet,
yeah.
He's just a prophet among many prophets. He didn't die that day. He just continued on being a Yeshua.
Surrounded by Keith. If you want to come on in, come on in. I certainly don't know a lot about Jehovah's Witnesses because I'm an ex-Mormon.
Though well, you have like 60 seconds. I really do have to go to bed. And so, what should we do, James?
I mean, if they come on, I'll stay for like another half hour or so. You hear me? Oh.
Yes. No, I am doing a shout out of
9-year-old girl. Yeah, you kind of.
You have Surrounded by Keith. What's up? I'm just gonna send out love to people. Frog Boy and Sven and Mark and Frog and Dave Gar and
next time.
You should check out Mark Reed's channel, Atheist Junior. I'm like doing my shout outs, but I shouldn't do the ending because we're not ending if someone comes on.
Unedited Amy Newman clips.
I want to ask a question because it kind of baffles me. You've been doing this for a while. Did you not realize Ray Comfort was that dishonest? And if so, how?
So here's how I sussed that out. Yes, it was like a more playful type. I don't know. It was like a more wrong than a dishonest. I didn't know how, because we make fun of the banana. I guess there's a piece of me that never really took that seriously. Like, it changes how you think of it pathologically because you realize he really does think that's a good argument, where it's just so hard for me to believe that he puts out content like that. Like, the banana is the atheist nightmare. And
he's been mocked for that for years?
But yes, I guess
I don't even defend him for it.
I'm actually sampling the dishonesty, and so it's not until you see it for yourself.
Oh, you atheist! You think you're related to a banana? So Ray Comfort, he's fine. He's not saying anything wrong about the banana.
And yes, that is what they do. Like, it's so silly. Which is like, it'd be like holding up a uterus and being like, "You think you're related to this?" Well, I mean, like, hopefully a little bit more than that. But yeah, I mean, that's an organ of an organ system, sure.
Well, the best thing you could say in that case is, like, what are you doing with my uterus?
Yeah. And all I have to ask for Ray is, where'd you get that banana and what are you going to do with it? I guess they've been asking him that for years, though. But yes, if no one else, James, are you going to... I'm going to dip out. instead of just ending? We're gonna keep on?
It doesn't matter.
I don't know if anyone else came on, but
Well, we'll say
I mean, we can end it. I don't think anybody's coming out.
if no, are you late? We may be
Amy's
going to
gotta
sleep then.
Yeah, she works and got to get up at 5:30.
But we're gonna try and do
He's not the
this
only
every
one.
Thursday now. Yeah, and we're gonna
Well,
try and do late night content as
Tried
well.
to do an after show Saturday.
Because sending love to all of who said someone was just talking about how they've been watching a lot of Aussie content and it has like a great vibe. And so now it just makes me want to check out Aussie content. But yes, sending so much love to all of the people in chat, sending love to all of the creationists that have been hate watching. Oh, I'm just teasing. Though I do hate, I don't know if I hate watch creationists, but I do watch, that and Dawa channels and stuff like that. Gotcha. Send so much love to Abegar.
Oh.
Athena's napping everyone.
Sending love to all the kids. Sending love to Athena and Gizmo and all of the cats and dogs of the world out there. All right, we're going to do the landing of the plane. Though I guess before I do the landing, you really should. Sinister, how about you start us off officially? We'll do a whole... Oh, thank you for joining us, Sinister. We have been Skeptic and Ranting. That's right. On Creationist Stumps Evolutionary Professors with one question, even though they weren't very stumped. But I hope you have had a fun time. And what are your final thoughts?
Ray Comfort is someone who has never really declined or increased in relevance over the years. He's just out there. And I would like to thank him, along with Kirk Cameron, for being the inspiration for Potholer 54's Golden Crocoduck Award. I hope
But he brought back something. He's doing it again, right?
Yes. I hope he wins it someday because he has well earned it. You can, actually, I'm not sure how much Twitter longer is going to be Twitter. Not sure how much longer Twitter is going to be around, but you can follow me on Twitter. Unless, of course, you're one of the people that's not supposed to follow me, but those people know who they are. Or I know who those people are, rather. You can check out some of my games on itch.io. And, like I said, go check out PZ Meyer's interview because it makes the dishonest editing that Ray Comfort is known to do blatant, and I guess PZ Myers knew he was going to do this, and that's why he agreed to it, as long as he could have his own cameras there. But I'm not entirely sure. It would be good to check with PZ Myers on that one. Be excellent to each other, and so long, and thanks for all the fish.
Woo-hoo. Thank you so very much, Sinister. And before I quickly hand it off to James, all I'll say is, I used to say Twitter used to annoy the out of me. I know we're live on X right now, but like it just annoyed me the way the media took things that Twitter said seriously. Because I talk a lot of shit on the internet. Now listen, I believe every one of my statements. Some people say I talk like a bot because I am really fast, but unfortunately, that's a good and a bad thing. I should slow down sometimes. But it just annoyed me that people took like an internet comment section like seriously. Like there's nothing wrong with having small amounts of text that we're sending to each other. Like I'm not even trying to trash that. I'm trying to trash the fact that people were like, did you see what they said on Twitter? I mean, why would it be more relevant if you are a celebrity? Or something like that. Okay. Anyway, sending so much love. Follow us on X. It's like saying follow us
on Twitter.
It now feels like it's saying follow us on the Titanic. Nonetheless, James, we've been Skeptic Ranting, Creationist Stumps
I'm safe.
Evolutionary. That's right. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, just have a lifeboat, wear a life vest. If you know how to swim, we'll be okay.
Or be an aquatic mammal.
Be an aquatic, be a porpoise. But James, we have been skeptic, and some of us have even said we have been ranting. What are your final thoughts?
You see, the evolutionists, they'll tell you that the porpoises evolved from land mammals. Well, no, it's just God decided to make some mammals live on land, and he decided, hey, wouldn't that be cool if a mammal could live in the water too? Yeah, so he made whales and porpoises. That's all that happened. It wasn't evolution. God just did it that way because God's badass. He comes up with kick-ass shit, you know? We should probably worship him. But anybody. Anyway. Thanks everybody for watching. We'll probably be back Saturday. Check out Amy's debate on my debate. It'll be great. I'm sure she'll do well, and we'll come and talk about that afterwards. And, we love you guys.
Thank you so much, James. And yeah, I'm looking forward to that debate. Go check it out. Go check out, I know Mark has done many fantastic debates. Leo was on earlier. Go check out Leo's fantastic debates. And
Mark's going to hell. Leo's going to hell.
James, it's where all the cool people are going to be.
Oh.
But I hope you all had a fun time on this episode of Creationist Stumps Evolutionary Professors with one question from the channel Living Waters, where, of course, we did have the Banana Man ask us the non-hyperbolic at all question. Creationist Stumps Evolutionary Professors with one in all caps lock and question with an exclamation mark and a question mark. Very excited. Oh my God, blows your mind.
Well, the professors, they're going to hell too. All of them.
Hail in a handbasket, sir. So I hope you had a stumping good time. But yes, I do want to thank my co-host James W. along with our guest tonight, the Sinister Porpoise. But I also want to thank all of you people in chat, our awesome mods who make the stream so great, and lovely viewers like you who make this channel even possible. If you enjoy the show, please don't forget to like, follow, or subscribe. If you don't like the show, I apologize, and come tell us why in the open mic this time. That's right. Subscribe anyway. Hate subscribe. No. My mother said don't hate anyone. It's the only curse word. Then you can hit the bell icon to all so you can join our live streams or see our premieres or join us for Taco Tuesday. That one we're still working on. Or hey, why not leave a comment once the video is done? Woo! I sent out a Carl Sagan tweet because that was on my mind. Or not tweet. Tweets
Carl
don't
Pagan,
exist
right?
anymore. But in the community tab, yes.
Carl Pagan.
Yeah. Carl Pagan. Oh, yeah, because they...
That's what Kent calls them.
It's okay to call them excrements now.
Oh, sending out the Skeptic
Mark
and
just went live.
Ranting. Who went live?
Mark went live.
Did
Mark.
he go live? Oh, then we should all be
He went
heading
live.
over there. I am going to send the Discord just so you can join the community. However, I'm going to send a link to Mark Reed's channel. Just say, boom. You should all head over to there, however, because Mark Reed is now doing a stream. And that is the wonderful thing about being a skeptic, about being an agnostic atheist. Like all of these theists, 20,000 denominations. And they... Oh, I'm so sorry, Macro Granola. I'm so sorry you missed the stream. You're like, oh, I finally joined a science theme. Woo-hoo. Well, we are glad to at least have you on the channel. And we will keep on having them. We have them now every Thursday, 6 Thursday. That's right. Gizmo looks gorgeous. He always looks camera ready. He always looks happy when he looks at camera.
He's always camera ready.
And I do my Sunday thing with a bunch of different skeptics. And we're going to have more. We just got to figure out more days. We're going to figure out consistency, and which is generally my fault. It's on Amy time. But before I make myself at the Girl Tech level. Oh, I'll say my last thought. There's 20,000 different denominations that they all look for, and yet there's some weird purity because they can't all be right, but they all can be wrong. And all right, with that, like I said, I want to thank James W. Sinister Porfist. I want to thank you all. What else was there with the Skeptic and Ranting Discord? Lastly, if you'd like to help us support even more content, you can hit that join button on YouTube or Twitch and become a member. Get our evolving badge system and our emojis, as well as our Patreon at patreon.com/Amy Newman. I am Amy Newman, and we will see you all on the next episode of Skeptic Ball Z. And I am going to do the other sound because it has Azo in it.
The other thing.
Azo. Wanted to do comments. Frogs are awesome. And good night.